morning. It's a beautiful Sunday. You guys know this one, okay? So help me out. Come on. Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but you're still searching for someone who understands the pain that you've been through. With the doors unlocked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. You'll find a place of rest in the arms of spirit. God's waited so long for your homecoming day. God knows the peace you seek and the hurt you're feeling. Spirit wants to hold you and to wipe your tears away. Where the Father waits with open arms. God is calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Well, there's room enough in the house of love for someone just like you. Ooh. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. I want to hear unity, come on. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, so come on in.
And good morning, everybody. Happy May Day on this glorious Sunday. I'm Bev Spivey. It's my joy to be here ministering with my husband, Reverend Lawrence Palmer. You'll hear from him later. And of course, we have the return once again after all these years. 11th year for James McCoy directing our wonderful musicians.
Good morning. We're having the show coming up, Still Jewish after all these years, Still Unity after all these years.
That's right.
Would you please welcome Mr. John Rose at the piano, Mr. Jeff Renza at the drum set, and of course our featured soloist is Danette Rivas. And we have two songs from Indy.RE this morning, both which I'm sure most of you have heard, and then another song from Karen Drucker. There you go.
There you go. We look forward to it all, James. For those of you on live stream this morning or on Facebook, welcome to this spiritual community. We invite you to participate as if you were here. Those of you who are local, we'd really like you to actually be here. Masks are optional now, so our pajamas, flip-flops, anything that'll get you in the door, come on back, because we are building this vibrant spiritual community once again, and we're all excited to see each other. Our facility has been kept really sparkling clean all during these years of the COVID pandemic by Peggy Smith and her team of community service, who after every service here and in Fellowship Hall, they wipe down everything. Switch plates, door handles, and certainly the chair arms. So know that we are clean and fresh here and welcoming all of you to come back. UnityPompanoBeach.org is our website, and you can look there for all of our events and activities that are going on. So we have a lot. You know, the first week of the month, we got to hit it with everything we have this month. We have Power Hour registration available through the website. We have Hybrid Power Hour. That's not an electric car. It is actually For those of us who are getting new to the whole notion of everything online now, we are able to have our class of Power Hour at 9:30 every Sunday morning. They're studying the Course in Miracles, and it's also live streamed through Facebook. Not Facebook, Zoom. There's a link to watch it online through Zoom. And so if you register, you will get the link for Zoom. If you're attending here, we ask that you also go through the registration, so we have a class list to be able to get in touch with you. So registration is every month for Power Hour. This Wednesday, we have book club. I'm looking forward to that. Our book is The Widow, and this afternoon, after I visit my parents, you will find me in the recliner with the book. Loving it. Next Saturday is our Women of Unity meeting, May 14th. Jane Anderson is here this morning. She is our leader in the women's group. We'll answer... Always planning wonderful programs for us. So this will be in Fellowship Hall, Saturday at 10 o'clock. All women are invited to this, and there are details about that on the website as well. And then a little bit special for you, next Sunday is Mother's Day. And our guest speaker will be our very own Reverend Darby Line, our Director of Operations, Interfaith Minister, sharing a Mother's Day message to us, and I'll give you a hint. It's all about being your own mother. So be sure to come for that. And then the Sunday after that is Rabbi David Mark. Some of you who have been coming here for a while remember Rabbi Mark from our temple that adjoins us here in Pompano Beach, and he is a wonderful speaker, very humorous and interesting as well. So those are our next 2 Sunday mornings coming up. And Lawrence and I are going to be around. We're just taking a little bit of rest and giving you a little bit of change of pace. So Saturday, May 21st, a pet blessing that many of you have asked for years. We're doing it. These are the little flyers that are in the narthex. If you would please take some. Take them to your vet. Take them to your friends who are pet lovers or any connection with a pet whatsoever. Please pass this on. We want to have an event that's open to all of the community. So this will be a pet blessing. Lawrence and I and Darby will be here blessing pets. We're hoping our chaplains will come out and assist us in this pet blessing. Each pet will receive a blessing and a prayer to go home. This will be from 10 to 12 on Saturday, May 21st. Again, details on this are available through our office. If you can help in any way, we'd love to see that. We're going to put up some canopies. I know some of you have those 10-foot canopies, so we're going to have some shade involved as well. So that's on May 21st. And then May 27th is a special entertaining evening. It's Friday night as we start Memorial Day. And it's Avi Hoffman, who is an actor, a musician, an entertainer, who is, his evening is still Jewish after all these years. This is wonderful for you he's given us a special ticket price of $18. This is a wonderful time for you to bring out friends, neighbors, anybody that has done something nice for you that you'd like to gift back. This would be something fun to do together. It will be a fun evening. So please go to the website. There's a link where you can easily sign up for your tickets on there, and we'd like to get an idea of how many are coming. So all of that going on, yes. Our theme for all of this year, a new view in 22. And part of that new view is taking a look at all sorts of things around us in our life, and appreciation, of course, and gratitude for what we have, looking for places where we can be of service and where we can be involved. And every month we've had our monthly theme, and we've celebrated Women's Month and Black History Month and Muslim American Month. And would you believe, in May, I bet you could guess because of our speakers and events, This is Jewish American History Month. So for Jewish American Heritage Month. So to kick that off, I'm inviting Dina Shimmick on the 30th anniversary of her bat mitzvah. Dina will come up and for us start off with the ancient Hebrew prayer still used today, the Shema.
Shalom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malhuto, Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Blessed is the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever. Shalom.
Thank you, Dina. And with that, and we honor other Jews in our congregation, and it's wonderful to know that unity is so compatible with the Jewish faith. So any of you who are Jewish or have Jewish friends, we invite you to be part of our spiritual community. So the daily word for today of May 1st is joy. I carry joy in my heart. My many happy experiences and memories may lead me to feel joyful, but I know they are not the source of my joy. One of my divine gifts, joy, is part of my spiritual identity, as close to me as my next breath. Joy wells up and spills over within me when I bring my awareness to my spiritual nature and to my oneness with all good and all life. It is an attitude I hold in mind and a feeling in my heart. The happiness I feel in life depends on my allowing my inner wellspring of joy to come forth. I nurture my joy by maintaining a regular prayer practice that enhances my awareness of God and by making time for the things that make me happiest. I go into the world grateful for the joy that resides within me, my gift to share generously. And from the Hebrew prophet Isaiah 55:12, for you shall go out in joy and be led back in peace. And so it is. Let us now prepare for our time of prayer and meditation.
The color of my eyes, I am not the skin on the outside, I am not my age, I am not my race, my soul inside is light. I am light, I am light.
I invite you now, wherever you are, to begin your preparation for sharing in this experience of togetherness. And I invite you to hold this morning the sense of joy that the Daily Word spoke about. Yesterday, Bev and I went to a birthday party for our granddaughter. There was a bunch of kids that had been invited, and we were looking forward to being there. As we walked in the door, there was that warmth and celebration, the love that was there. It was such a pleasant, enjoyable experience. I invite you to enter into meditation today with that same kind of feeling, a sense of positive anticipation, a sense of expectation, a sense of experience of warmth and love and acceptance and presence. So you can give your body permission to relax as you enter into this time. You can give your mind permission to let go and simply to be. With body at ease and mind at ease, your awareness is free then to commune with Spirit in this time of joy and celebration, time of peace, light, and love. Allow those thoughts and those feelings to fill your heart and your mind, to fill your body as you ease into the stillness. As you focus your attention in that solitary direction of Spirit. So as we have indeed prepared ourselves for this time of stillness and silence, we know that Spirit welcomes us, the Spirit waits on us now. So let us enter into this time with the consciousness of oneness, with the consciousness of knowing, with the consciousness of being, and all of that together now. Now, as you experience that sense of being enfolded and enveloped and embraced in that presence of Spirit, you know that you can bring that feeling, that sense with you into your mind, your heart, your body. And in this coming week, as you choose to, you can recall the experience and be blessed all over again. So with a deep sense of gratitude for this opportunity to be together, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment. Exhale slowly, deliberately through your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes as we sing together, Alleluia.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia,
Inside my head there lives a dream that I wanna see in the sun. Behind my eyes there lives a me that I've been hiding for much too long. Cause I've been too afraid to let it show. Cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. I've gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. I've gotta step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Behind my, yeah, come on. Behind my pride there lives a me that knows humility. Inside my voice there is a soul, and in my soul there is a voice. But I've been too afraid to make a choice, cause I'm scared of the things that I might miss now. Running too fast to stop and listen. It's time to step out on faith. I've gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. I've gotta step out on faith. I've gotta show my faith. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Yeah. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I close my eyes and I think of all the things that I want to see. Cause I know now that I've opened up my heart, I know that anything I want can be.
So let it 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 be. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Yeah. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me, inside of me, inside of me. Strength, courage, and wisdom. Every day I'm praying for to find myself. Yeah. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. I found it in me. I found it. Finally, I found it in me. I found it. Finally, I found it inside of me. I found it. Finally, I found it. Oh, I found it. Found it. I found it inside of me. I found it. Finally, I found it. Oh, I found it. I found it. Thank you.
Thank you, band. As always, wonderful. You know, it's often fun to have the opportunity to listen to these songs before James gets his hands on them, and then he McCoyizes them. That's the word I just came up with. But
I call it unitizing them.
That's good. Well, it's even beyond that because that's got your flavor in there too. So thank you so much. Aren't we fortunate? Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to welcome you to Jewish American Heritage Month. And as we did before, we're going to be focusing on the Jewish faith at this time. We've got some wonderful things coming up for you. I'm really excited about it. I've always had a tremendous respect for the Jewish religion and the Jewish people, for their history and what I know of it. And I've talked a lot about it in my church. For a long time, I had either a Seder service, which you know is part of Passover, or when I was in the Baptist church, we even had a full-blown Passover meal at church, which was pretty interesting, a lot of work. But I have a great story connected with that. I had a lady in my church, in my Unity church in Colorado, who was ethnically Jewish. She came from a Jewish family, but they were atheists. And her parents were very much involved in the civil rights movement back in the 60s and very engaged in social issues and that sort of thing. But she loved Unity and started coming to Unity. Her name was Rebecca. And I did such a good job teaching about Judaism that she became enamored with Judaism, being her family and her ethnic beginnings. And she ended up going back to temple and becoming a practicing Jew. And I was real proud of myself and her too, because we had shown her in Unity enough about Judaism for her to find her heart there. And I was really thrilled to see that happen. But that was always fun. We did the Seder service almost every year, and we have done it a couple of times here. But that's part of their heritage. I want to begin by giving you just a little bit of history about the Jews. Sometimes people are confused about the term Hebrew and Jewish. And Hebrew is simply an older term for the people that we call Jewish. There's more to it than that, but that's a simple part of it. Now, to begin with, the place where the Jews, we attach with the Jews is what was called Palestine. And about the 10th century, and by the way, when some of you are studying, you'll find terms that are kind of confusing sometimes. You remember the terms BC and CE, before Christ, and Common Era. And I mean, BC and AD. BC was before Christ, AD is Anno Domino, the year of our Lord. Well, in modern times, especially in scholarly circles, the terms used now are Common Era, CE, and before Common Era, BCE. And that kind of secularizes it. It takes Jesus out of the picture there so that the scientists don't feel uncomfortable. So when you're reading along sometime and you see something that is either CE or BCE, you know exactly what that means now. Well, in Palestine, the Canaanites showed up in Palestine in about the 10th century BCE. Then along came the Israelites. They showed up. Abraham was the beginner of the Jewish faith, or the Hebrews. And Abraham came out of Ur of the Chaldees, which was in the Near East, up in the northern part of the Near East. And the Israelites made their way to Palestine. Abraham had been spoken to by God and told that Abraham was going to be father of a great nation, that his people would be as the sands of the sea, and that they would have a place of their own. So they made their way to Palestine and settled there. In the 8th century BC, the Assyrians came to power and swept through that area. And the way things happened back then is that when a conquering power came through, they would pick out the brightest and the best of the conquered people and ship them off to somewhere else. And that way dilute the culture so they'd have less threat in the days to come. So the Syrians came through and carried most of the Israelites off into captivity into Assyria. In the 7th century, the Babylonians came along and did the same thing and just took over where the Assyrians left off. And then in the 6th century, the Persians came along, and guess what? They did the same thing, which is what they did back then. When you got big and strong, well, that's not too different from today, is it? Where you're trying to conquer other people and take away from other people. Wow, that does sound painfully familiar, does it not? So maybe things haven't changed so much after all. Well, the Persians came through in the 6th century and again did the same thing, conquered all the lands there. But they had an enlightened leader named Cyrus. And in about 539, Cyrus gave the Jews permission to go back to Palestine and rebuild Jerusalem. So they got to go back home finally after all the prophecy, after all the waiting. They got to go back home and build their country once again. And then, of course, after the Israelites were there, they became Jews, as we know now. And after that came the Romans and the Greeks, which we find accounts in the New Testament. But there was a great deal going on with the Hebrews at this time. When the Hebrews had their own culture, when they were conquered and then carried off into captivity, they were taken into a strange land with strange customs and strange ways. And what happened is after a while, some of the Hebrew customs began to fall away. And the Hebrews who were there in captivity began to pick up some of the customs of the ones who had conquered them. So when the Assyrians came along, that happened. They lost some of theirs, picked up some of the Assyrian culture. When the Babylonians came along, the Hebrews lost some more of their culture, picked up some of the Babylonian culture. And then when the Persians came along, the same thing happened. And many of the things that the Hebrews have in their theology now, they didn't have when they went into captivity. It's something that was picked up along the way. So there was a lot of change going on there. A lot of times we get the idea of this purist idea of history, like, okay, here's this little plunk over here of the Assyrians, and here's a little piece of the Persians over here, and they didn't have any interaction. They were just there. But there was a great deal of interaction going on. And the Hebrews just didn't appear somewhere sometime and stay the way they were. They were in a state of constant change as they were adapting to the situation that they had with these countries who came in to conquer them and carry them off. So we had the Hebrews being influenced by the cultures around them. They got to come back to Palestine, create their own land, and their own culture flourished once again. But they still had those things that they brought with them from the captivity. Now, when the Christian movement came along, we have a term that we use, Judeo-Christian. And again, that indicates the interplay between them. Well, just like the Jews were over here in a little bubble by themselves, and Christianity showed up in a little bubble over here by itself. There was a great deal of intermingling. There was a great deal of interaction there. So we have this Judeo-Christian tradition that came out, where the Christians came out of Judaism, lost some of their Jewish traditions, and created some new ones through the path of Christianity. And one of the things that Christianity did that most Christians don't like to hear, don't want to talk about, is the fact that Christians did the same thing that the Assyrians and Babylonians and Persians did. As a matter of fact, Bishop Spong wrote the book about Christianity. Our Judaism got hijacked by Christianity, because Christianity took all these ideas and baptized them and made them their own and called them their own. And after that, Christians thought this was our idea. Well, there's not a whole lot in Christianity that they didn't borrow from somebody else. That didn't come from somebody else. And even the pagans, I got in trouble, so much trouble in the Baptist church for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons I got in trouble was telling people that, Christmas is not really a Christian holiday. The Christians took a pagan holiday and baptized it and called it Christian. Same thing with Easter. Easter was a pagan holiday that the Christians took and adapted for their own. What was going on is that as the Christians were converting the pagans, they didn't want the pagans to feel lonesome, so they brought some of their holidays into Christianity. And that way they could play along too, and they could have parties too. Now that did not go over well in the Baptist church. But that's how the development of our cultures happen. There's always interplay. There's always interaction. So we had all these different religions. Hebrews were exposed to all these different religions, and they began to take shape into something new. Then Christianity came along, and we had Judeo-Christian beliefs. And now New Thought comes along. And New Thought does exactly the same thing as what everybody else does. We borrow some from here and borrow some from here and roll it up in a ball and call it unity. And it works. But don't be ignorant about it. I didn't mean that in that bad way. Where I grew up, you call somebody ignorant, it was just a terrible insult on them. But ignorant is a word that means lacking knowledge. So don't lack the knowledge about who and what we are. I heard somebody one time in Unity was really running down the Christians for picking and cherry picking the scriptures. And I could not help myself. I said, and you don't do that? Oh, no, we don't do that. Yeah, sure. Well, I challenge you to look at what we believe is unity, look at the Bible, and see if we don't cherry pick what we want. Do it and claim it. It's okay. Don't try to hide it. Don't be ashamed of it. There it is. We take what works for us and we use it. So do it and don't be ashamed, okay? Now, one of the famous Jewish people, although history tells us that he was not a really strongly practicing Jew, Sigmund Freud was Jewish by ethnicity and barely by practice. His family was not terribly religious. But one of the quotes that Freud gave us, in the German it says, Liebe und Arbeit sind die Eckpfeiler unserer Menschlichkeit. I almost got it out. There you go. And translated, that is, love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. And I thought, there's a great place to start in looking at this Jewish thought and how it has influenced our culture and how it still influences our culture. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Let's look at love first. Love is really, really important for the Jewish people and their religion, as it is in unity. And you know, in unity we define love as the healing, harmonizing, balancing power of the universe. And one of the things I found out quite some time ago is that when you're studying Judaism, you get the sense of them looking outward. The prayer that Dina did for us so beautifully earlier on is flowery, it's beautiful. It talks about God in these grand terms. And if you read the other Jewish prayers, you'll find that sense of God being awesome and God being out there somewhere, and the prayers are directed out there, and that's the way Jewish thought worked. But I found the neatest thing that if you take Jewish thought, most of Jewish belief, and take it from the outer and internalize it, it works just great with unity. Because so many of the things are harmonious if we bring them inside. Of course, we don't believe in a God that is out there somewhere. We don't believe in things having power out there somewhere, that it all has the power in here. And the presence of God is in here, not out there. And once you make that transition, there are all kinds of things that are wonderful in Judaism that are really fun, really neat ideas. So play with that a little bit. But one of the things that is important to Judaism is that idea of love. Love is important to unity as well. In Deuteronomy 6, we find, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. These commandments I give you today are to be on your hearts. Now, that commandment is repeated several times in the Old Testament and is picked up and taught in the New Testament as well. That's the great commandment. We are to love God with every fiber of our being. That's important to Jewish thought. It's important to Jewish life. And loving God and loving the law. And to the Jews, God and the law are inseparable. They're essentially the same thing. And what God says is what God says. You don't question it. You don't change it. You don't do anything to it because God said it. And when God wants something, it's going to happen. When God says something, it's going to happen. You trust that. You hang on to that. And that's one of the things that kept the Jews in existence as they are. Many of the cultures that got swallowed up and carried off into captivity disappeared. The Philistine culture that was in Palestine before the Hebrews were completely disappeared. They're gone. At one point in history, they just disappeared, but the Jews didn't. There were other cultures like that when in the process of being swallowed up and carried off into captivity and moved here and moved there, they lost all of themselves. They lost their whole culture. Yet the Jews did not. Why? That always fascinated me. And one of the reasons is because of their connection with love, their belief in love, and their connection with law, and their strong belief in God being absolute. Because when you're down and there's nowhere else to turn, the only thing you have is that greater truth of God. And the Jews had that. And they had survived and ended up being able to come back to Palestine, rebuild Jerusalem, and finally, in our more modern times, become their own legal state, their only legal nation. So the Jews not only survived, but they flourished. And there are a number of reasons that happened, but one of the reasons is their investment in love, their investment in God as being the ultimate, as being God, and knowing that God was on their side. That made a big difference in their experience and their encounter with the peoples that were around them. So God and the law are very, very important to them. Another one is family. The Jews are right up there with the Mormons as far as being really dependent or really invested in family. I wish we could pull that piece of Mormonism out of the family and insert that into unity. Those folks know about family, and they care about family, and they pay attention, and they invest their time and their money and everything else in family. And so is it with the Jews. They had a really, really strong sense of family. And many things happened. I'm going to speak in just a moment next about the traditions. An interesting thing that's somewhat different about the Jewish religion is that many of their holidays, many of their celebrations happened in family rather than in a larger group. It's not so often that they would get together in temple or synagogue and have one of these ceremonies as it is that individual families were doing this themselves together. And that drew them closer and closer together. I had a real interesting experience. I've told some of you this story before, but when I was first getting really, really interested in Judaism, when I was in the Baptist church, I decided I was going to really, really go for broke here, and I planned a Seder service for my Baptist church. So we got everything ready, and I was feeling a little bit inadequate to make this happen. I'd never even been to a Seder service, much less conducted one. So I called the Jewish Federation. I was living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time. Called the Jewish Federation and told them what I wanted to do and said, could you send somebody to help? They said, oh, yes, we do that all the time. We'll send somebody for you. I was so excited. So the night of the Seder, I was waiting for the person at the back door to come in. 2 little old ladies showed up. They were arguing when they got out of the car. They argued all the way up to the door. Not mean, but just, going at it. So we started the service, and one of them would read the scripture and say something, and others would say, no, my father did it like this. And she'd perceive that, no, my father did it like this. Through the whole service, these 2 ladies were going at it like this. I was mortified. I mean, I'm trying to teach my people about Judaism, and this is supposed to be a great thing, and here are these ladies arguing with each other. Now, I know I was hypersensitive to it more so than my people were, but still, And I mentioned it to somebody later who was actually Jewish. Said, oh, yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it always is. There's nothing wrong there. And I felt a whole lot better about it. I always made sure to tell people about that. My people who had seen what happened, that's okay. This is Jewish family in operation. So it's always very intimate, very close. And I think that is incredibly powerful. And those kind of connections hold. When threats come in from outer, if those inner connections are strong, the outer threats don't matter. They will not win over. The inner wins over. And that's really important when it comes to family. Now, another thing that has been strong with the Jews that's important about their love is their religious traditions and the holidays and the rituals. There are a bunch of Jewish holidays. And you hear of them every once in a while. You've all heard of Passover, which is on the calendar connected with Christmas, has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas. Nothing at all whatsoever. There's Hanukkah, which is the festival of lights. Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. You've heard of that one. And then, of course, Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. And those holidays are really important to the Jewish people, and they celebrate them in a big way. And I've always lamented the fact that Christianity as a whole, and particularly unity, we just really don't have enough ritual. We don't have enough ceremony that takes us into that deep part of ourselves. And I've been trying little by little to change that along the way. But that was part of what made the Jewish faith and the Jewish people so very strong. Another point of love was the love for the world and love for others. Many people hear the reference about the Jews being God's chosen people and feeling threatened or whatever, like, oh, the Jews think they're better than everybody else, and God's going to bless them and not bless everybody else. That's not what it was all about at all, not at all. The Jews were the God's chosen people through whom the rest of the world were to be blessed. The Jews weren't the end of the blessing. They weren't the puddle of water at the end of the stream where everything collected. The Jews being God's chosen people meant they were tools to carry out God's love into the world. They were models for the people in the world to see what it's like for somebody who really loves God. So this idea that the Jews are somehow exclusive and somehow special, it just doesn't work. They were special, again, in the sense that they were given the task of taking the truth of God to the world. And they were to represent God to the world. And that's a very different kind of approach. But that comes out of their emphasis on love, of reaching out into the world and taking the news to the world, the truth of God to the world. Now, the other part of that Leben und Arbeiten, to work, to love and to work, of course, is to work. Now, we have some stereotypes about everybody around us, but particularly about Jewish people. One of the stereotypes is that if you're Jewish, you're smart. Yes, and you're wealthy, and you're ambitious. And that's probably true. I mean, there's some truth in that. To have a stereotype, you have to have some kind of truth to work with. And we do find a disproportionate number of Jewish people who are very successful in the world, in business and professionalism. You think Jewish doctors. I mean, look in the yellow pages under doctors, and you'll see how many Jewish names you see there. Attorneys, business people. They seem to flourish in those settings. Why is that? Is it because they teach them, you got to go out and be successful, make a lot of money, be powerful in the world? That's not the way they do it. Because when Jewish people work, and I understand I'm making some generalizations here, and I'm following some of these stereotypes, and I'm aware of it. I'm not shortchanging anybody by that, so just hear that. But what was taught about working was not going out and making money. It was going out and doing the work. It was more important to do the work and do it right than to do the work to make money. This is part of where I got my idea of this idea of living because of rather than in order to. Most of the time in our culture, we go out and get a job in order to make money, in order to be powerful, in order to gain possessions. However, if we do it truly as the Jews did it, we would work because of who we are. We would do a good job because of who we are, not in order to get something. Now, when you go out to work, you take yourself out into the world with this love working within you and this idea that I'm going to work to serve. I'm going to work to do the best job that I can, to be the best person I am, to do this job better than anybody's ever done it before. Are you going to be successful or not? Probably so. With that kind of attitude, it makes a world of difference when you carry that attitude in the world about work. So we go out into the world to do what is ours to do. You hear that phrase a lot in Unity, don't you? Especially here. What is yours to do? The Jewish idea of work is that, going out and doing heartily, with your heart, as unto God, the work that is yours to do. That is yours to do. It's important that you're not doing somebody else's work, but doing yours. And that makes a difference. When you go out to do a job knowing it's yours and having made that commitment to do the very best you can, then good things are going to happen. You don't give up, you keep working, and the good things happen. That's the Jewish legacy. That's the Jewish history that we see. So it's a very positive thing. Now, I found a list of powerful teachings. A rabbi wrote these. There were 7 of them. Yeah, there's 7 of them. Of the powerful teaching of Judaism. The first one is, every descent is for the sake of a future ascent. Every descent is for the sake of a future ascent. So that means when you hit the bottom, you bounce back up. There's nowhere to go but up, and you go up. You don't let that get you down. It's going to happen. When it happens, you're ready for it. So getting down is cause for going up. The second one is, hard work is crucial to success, no exceptions. Hard work is crucial to success, no exceptions. A person should always say, the world was created for my sake. That comes out of the Talmud. The world is created for my sake. Now, again, you might hear some kind of arrogance there that, God's playing favorites or whatever. But what that means is that I'm responsible for the world. The world was created for my sake, and that means that I'm to take responsibility for the world, my part of being in the world. If I'm doing what is mine to do, then it changes the world. And it's important for us to keep that in mind. Action is the most important thing. Yes, you have to think about things. Yes, you feel about things, but doing is important. Putting your ideas into action, putting your feelings into action, and making things happen. That's part of the reason that the Jews are still here. Number 6, the words that come from the heart enter the heart. And this means that if you're trying to communicate with someone and you do it on a logical level, you're going to contact the logical part of their brain. If you try to be reasonable or convince somebody from that place, it goes in their head, and that's as far as it goes. But this teaching says words that come from the heart enter the heart. When you're speaking to someone and you speak from your heart, it doesn't go into their logical brain, it goes into their heart. Have you ever met somebody like that who you felt like they were just speaking right to your heart? Doesn't that make a difference? Aren't you able to communicate a whole lot better when that happens? Yeah, that's true. So the words that come from the heart enter the heart. And number 7, all the days of your life are to bring the Messiah. And again, that means you are involved in living this life, living it out fully, living it completely. Am I just interested in my goals, or am I committed to them? I always get in mind when I see something like this cartoon of this pig and a chicken standing here having a conversation. And they're talking about breakfast. And the pig says, yeah, you make a contribution to breakfast, I make a commitment. The point is there. It is important that we make a commitment to being in the world. Not to just slide through it, not to just let things happen as they will, but stand in the place that is mine to stand in and do the things that are mine to do and never give up. Never give up. Remain committed to God, committed to the law, committed to love, committed to work. It certainly has worked for the Jews. Now, interestingly enough, everything I've talked about so far fits within the umbrella of prosperity. So many people think prosperity is just money. And money is part of it, but only a part of it, maybe even the smallest part of it. What goes on within us, our state of consciousness, has to do with prosperity. Prosperity means abundance. And you can have an abundance of love. You can have abundance of wisdom, abundance of peace, abundance of physical health, abundance of joy. All of those things are part of prosperity. And everything I've said about living a Jewish life points back to that, back to prosperity. So part of the ancient and modern Jewish culture is prosperity. And we find so many examples and so many lessons here to help us live that way too. So I invite you to pay attention this month as we talk about Judaism. I'm sure Darby will have a few references next week. And then the following week, I'm sure Rabbi Mark will mention things too. And then the last 2 Sundays in the month, I'll be speaking about Judaism and the self and Judaism and others. So you're going to be getting a lot of this, so listen up. Pick up these things that you might have said before, oh, that's Jewish, and say, wait a minute, if I take that and put it in the heart, it becomes unity, it becomes me. So there will be a lot of those opportunities during this month. We're going to do everything we can to create those opportunities for you over and over again. So again, happy Jewish month. God bless you.
And now is our offering time. Another idea that the Christians adopted from the Hebrew culture and back as far as we know before there was money. That's where the tithing idea comes from. There were 12 tribes, and one of those tribes was the religious portion, the priestly tribe, that kept the laws and kept the information going from all of their stories, before recorded history. And so to support that tribe were the gifts of the others, and it was 10% of the flock, of the fruits, of the grains, whatever. And that has continued on through, and even in Unity, we believe that when you give a 10% gift back to your spiritual source, the blessing just feels so good, and the success comes to your source and also to you as well. So we invite you to participate now in giving. There's a donate button if you're looking online. Here we encourage you to get on a schedule of doing an automatic giving program, which makes it easy. But however you give, we certainly thank you for your gifts. And we vow to use your gifts wisely as we continue the work here at Unity of Pompano Beach. So won't you think of your giving today. Hold your giving if you're here in the congregation. And let's bless those gifts with our unity blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen.
All right, Unity, you guys can help me sing this song, okay? It's like a repeating, okay? I'll say something, you say something, all right? All right. What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my higher good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Prosperity, I claim it, claim it. Abundance is mine. Love flows through me. I feel joy all the time. I can have it, can have it. I deserve it, I deserve it. I claim it, it is mine. I can have it, I deserve it. I am it, it is mine. Peace fills my heart. I surrender everything. Health is my birthright. Passion helps me sing. I can have it, I deserve it, I deserve it. I claim it, it is mine. I can have it, I deserve it. I am it, it's my time. Come on. All right, you got it? Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my highest good. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything that brings me to my higher. Come on, I release, hallelujah. I accept what is mine. I can have what I want, and let Spirit direct the flow. Life is good, life is good, life is fun, life is fun, life is great, life is great. The song is done.
And that was by a writer and singer that we're so familiar with, Karen Drucker, known for her unity chants. So, as we leave with our very prosperous feeling today, our feeling of joy, our feeling of doing what's ours to do this week, I invite you to stand up if you're here at home. Please join us in blessing each other. And following, of course, our fellowship hall is open. We encourage do we have coffee today? Yeah, somebody made coffee. That's good. We're still putting our teams in place. So if service feels like yours to do, we can always use you. So stay afterwards for a little bit of getting to know each other. Let's bless each other now with Unity's prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. receive your grace.